The following is a presentation of TFNN. Time to talk about your health. Living a primal lifestyle.
You know, we have Tom from Tampa on the phone. Hey, Tom. Good morning. It's bright and early now, huh?
Hey, Paige. Good.
Hi, Tom.
How you guys doing, Nico?
Doing great.
Good. Hey, your newsletter's outstanding, man. I'm telling you, man, it is outstanding. And so is the Primal Edge. I love that stuff. I'd never be without it. I mean, I've been on it now 3-4 months, man. I mean, it's just, I can't get over how good I feel.
Primal Edge is, people are raving about it. People who are trying it, they know because you can feel it.
Would not be without it.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Now your hosts, Nico Haan and Paige Clark.
Good morning. I'm Nico Haan, and welcome to Living a Primal Lifestyle, where we explore a return to a more balanced and natural wild world to recover our natural health and regain our rights and freedoms. It's a beautiful morning in downtown St. Petersburg, 70 degrees and mostly clear, and that makes me feel pretty good. It looks like we're going to have this mode of weather for the next week or 10 days, which is really nice, and maybe a little even warm up more than that, which would be good for this virus, I think. How's everybody doing in the chat room? How you doing there? Just want to tell you what I've been doing. Of course, you know that about 2.5 weeks ago, I went out and got most of my food that I needed, and I got mostly fresh food, meats mostly, and I stocked up for probably maybe a month. And, of course, I already had about 3 months of canned food and various things that we will use later on if it comes to that. But I noticed the stores yesterday, all my clients that were coming in were saying that the stores were pretty much empty. Everybody was on the bandwagon of getting everything. All the fresh food was gone. All the paper goods was gone, which is really what we seem to do here. I don't know how that really got started. Somebody else, I was listening to a podcast on the way up here this morning. They were saying in the 1970s, Johnny Carson had mentioned that there was going to be a shortage on toilet paper, and everybody ran out with toilet paper. And I don't know if that came about because of that, but it's a kind of crazy thing. I always think about, well, if I'm short of toilet paper, I go from the toilet into the shower and take a shower and do what our ancestors do, use our hand and water, and it works really well. But things have certainly changed last week in some of the news conferences that our president was doing. He kind of was reading and no life in him. And then Friday he brought out some experts, and he was still reading, kind of real meek out there, not like a real leader, but he brought out some real experts, and they seem to have some solutions, and I think some of the programs that they have is good. Yesterday when I listened to him, he looked like a new person. It was really good. He had energy. He was speaking off the cuff a lot more than just reading, which he does the best. You know, that's when you're at your best, when you don't have to be reading. I know that for sure. And the experts I really like. I like the doctors and the woman who did the AIDS thing back in the 80s. She's been with the different administrations, and she speaks really well. And, of course, the doctor speaks real well, too. And they're telling us the straight stuff. So things have changed. We're now in kind of a lockdown. We can still go to work and things like that if you're, I guess, under 10 people. So that's good news for me. I really like the fact that I can go to work and do my regular routines, and I think that helps us all through that. So if you're stuck at home, you kind of have to come up with a new routine. And that's where the problem lies. You know, if you're in a small apartment, it's much harder. So the food is no problem at our house. We are pretty much shut in for the most part. I think this is a good time. You can go for a walk outside, take a little break, get some sunshine. Those things I think are really important, and of course taking your things like the Primal Edge that we have, I think that's an important thing to do. So, you know, be sure to stock up on the Primal Edge. It's something that has humic and fulvic acid in it, and this really binds up viruses and takes it out of your body. So it's a really good thing to do. People buying lots of things. When you go to the grocery store, I see people with bags of rice and things like that. And as I was talking last week, you have to remember that these things are the foods that we use as last resort. And yeah, if you need them, you certainly want to do that. But right now is the time to get the freshest food you can and use that for as long as you can. Because remember, last week I told you that the primary foods, which are your fruits and your vegetables and probably the meats, are really up there. But the fruits and vegetables, I think, probably are in the secondary category today because we've kind of bastardized them. You know, we've made them sweeter. If you had an apple back in the old days, it was real bitter, and now they're real sweet. And same with lettuce. All these things that we're eating today are completely different than our ancestors were eating them. So I think the first line of defense is having some meat that was raised not conventionally, but raised by people who care about them and feeding them with the proper stuff, not feeding grains, but pastured. We always emphasize this, and this is a good time to really eat all those things until they're gone and try to restock up on them. Go, wait about a week until things get back into norm. Call your grocery store and see if they have some supplies before you even go there. I don't know if they're answering the phones or not, that's for sure, but yesterday a couple of my clients says that everything's empty in these places, so that's not good. I don't know what you're doing. Home workouts, somebody's mentioning, home gardening, all good things to do. Movies, you can watch some movies, but exercise is definitely one of the things I think of, and I think of taking a sauna. Now, what a sauna can do for you, of course, brings up your body heat. Not enough to kill the virus, but probably enough to take it out of your body if you're eating right. That's my thought on the whole process, because remember, when you're in a sauna for 20 or 40 minutes, depending on the type of sauna that you do, what's happening is that you're detoxing the bad things out of your fat cells. And remember that the coronavirus is in the fat cells. And this is why people who are overweight or obese have a condition that is almost ready for the coronavirus to get in there. So you have to be more careful. So there's certain indications that you have that makes it worse for you. And we're going to talk about a couple of those things too. Some of the gyms, the fitness studios, they're definitely closing. Mine is not. And the main reason for that, I work with a physical therapist, Sylvia Roots, and she sees people one-on-one, so there's usually only one client in for her, and usually one or two for me. So at the most in our place, we have 5 people. So that's under the 10. And, well, of course, we're doing all the things that we normally do. I use a lot of alcohol and things to clean up between clients and when I first get there in the morning. So that's an important thing. I see a lot of people at airports trying to get back into the country or back in the country, and then now they're waiting. And, boy, that was a nightmare. I saw one shot, I think it was in Chicago, where people were just shoulder to shoulder, and it looked like there was a couple of thousand of them. And that's the worst thing you want to do. What I would have done in that situation was go rent a car and drive home. I don't care how far it is. Probably the safest place you can be right now. And still, the traffic this morning was still pretty good. Excuse me. I came in, and it was about the same time that I normally take. Of course, I was driving nice and slow. Watch all the maniacs going past me. But people are staying home more, and I think this is going to accelerate. And I think that's probably a good thing to do. One of the indicators, of course, is having a dry cough. My cough right now is kind of wet, and my nose is running. We're in the middle here of the live oak season, one of the worst allergies for me. And one of my ears has been plugged for a couple of weeks, and this is probably pretty normal. I kind of thought, oh boy, am I in trouble here? But it seems like it's slowly going away, and as it normally does with an allergy, things don't shut on and off like that. They kind of just peter off. So stick around, folks. I want to come back. I'd like to remind you first to pick up the Primal Edge and, of course, our newsletter, which is out right now. We'll be right back.
You know what's cool? Taking something that's good for you. Something specifically formulated to help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Nico, our hunter and gatherer ancestors found all their nutritional requirements for health in their wild environment. But today, our food sources no longer contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients our bodies need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, soil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty, and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered powered by highly concentrated fulvic and humic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They have been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, life cannot exist without them.
That's right, Paige. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge, formulated and approved by Nico and Paige of Living a Primal Lifestyle. Buy it today for just $89. Click on the Primal Edge banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABCs, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com. Will the S&P 500 continue to climb? For bold trades on U.S. large-cap stocks in either direction, trade SPXL, SPUU, or SPXS. Directions Daily S&P 500 Bull and Bear Leveraged ETFs. Direction Leveraged ETFs. An investor should carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risks, charges, and expenses before investing. A fund's prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a fund's prospectus and summary prospectus, call 866-476-7523 or visit directioninvestments.com. A fund's prospectus and summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-873-7618.
And welcome back to the show. As I said before the break, the Primal Edge with the fulvic and humic acid is a great thing to take now. In fact, the thing I'm doing right now is doubling up, taking some in the morning and taking a little bit in the afternoon, along with some of the other things that I take are perfect aminos. I'm taking some silver solution that's been known to really help in the bubonic plague and all these different types of plagues that we had. Silver has been something that's worked pretty well. I'm following the New Yorker, which is a good source for the coronavirus, I feel, and this gentleman, Isaac Chotiner, did an interview, and he interviewed Justin Lessler, and let's see, he is Johns Hopkins Bloomberg School of Public Health and professor of entomology. And he studied outbreaks of influenza, measles, all kinds of different diseases. And it's just to try to improve the understanding of what this pandemic is doing and kind of learn what our governments are doing and the different government responses. And the other question was why older adults seem to be more at risk for serious disease. And he says, I think it's some of it has been confirmed, some things we suspected from SARS and other coronaviruses, but we're not sure of it. For instance, we have a much better grasp of what the incubation period is now, and it's an average of about 5 days. And the generation time, which is time between when a person is infected and when they infect somebody else, which is around 6 days. We're starting to learn a lot more about how infectious it is and the context with which it is infectious. We had signals of this about a month ago, but it's very clear that the age distribution of death and severe outcomes is stark, with older adults having quite higher mortality rates, with younger adults, with kids not dying at all, pretty much. But we don't know why kids don't get infected. but we do know they do get infected, excuse me. It was unclear why there weren't cases before, but now we're relatively confident that more are getting infected. They just aren't getting as sick. One of the questions here is, can you apply some numbers to some of these things? He says, well, we're pretty sure based on the data from Wuhan, China, that about 80% of the deaths occur in people 60 or over, and that's what we knew before. Whereas less than 1,000 have occurred in children under 20. So an extremely stark distribution of age. One study he did in Shenzhen, China found, and this is not peer-reviewed yet, it's just a reprint, that the rate of infection was similar in young children who were exposed in the population overall. But of course, we were not seeing the kids getting hospitalized or dying, so they are not as symptomatic and getting as severe a disease. So anybody can get it, but just how seriously does it affect you? He says, whether you're ill or not, or whether you get it or not, you do get ill. What it means is the disease is a little vague, but if you're thinking about it getting affected with the disease, it looks like anybody can do that. But if you're thinking of what this means to get a disease as actually getting ill, then it appears that children are the least ones. And they're somewhat protected. And some of this, I think, has to do with a lot of these receptors. Now, if you've been following some of the doctors, one of the receptors is called the ACE2 receptors. And the reason we know a lot about the ACE2 receptors, it's used in our medicine, used for hypertension. So if you have low blood pressure, or high blood pressure, excuse me, to lower it, they put the products into this ACE2 receptor. Also, I think some diabetes has the same thing. So if you're taking those types of drugs, you seem to be more susceptible to the disease just because that receptor is working overtime putting the drugs in. That's kind of the way I see it. We will see a sense of how true this is when the disease enters populations where the frailty is more. He says, I think it's a little more, about a third. What the heck is this saying here? Sometimes it's so confusing to read this stuff. That's why I don't really like to read. I think the evidence is still unclear about these theories, he says. Okay, what do you make for school closings? Well, I think this is probably a good idea. I think my sense of the thing is let's get everybody a month off. Just shut everything down, make sure that everybody has food and things like that. But shut everybody down and give everybody a break in a month as far as the bills are concerned and everything like that. Some of this is being done, so I'm happy about that. But these are the kinds you have to kind of think about. If we want to really do this, we shut the country down for a little while. Canada just closes borders. Many countries are going to be doing this, and some of them even have curfews. So what's the biggest lessons we learned from China, South Korea, and Italy? He says, I would definitely say that China has been able to accomplish quite a few things, and it's very impressive. They had a raging epidemic that looked like it was out of control, and by shutting everything down, they managed to stop the epidemic in its tracks. That's the way it looks now. This was an impressive accomplishment, although those are extreme measures that we really prefer not to take in most places in the world, especially in America. And another thing just popped in my mind. Did you see the run on the guns? All these gun stores are just completely empty. Boy, oh boy, what are people thinking? So, and now Italy is doing the same thing, and South Korea seems to be doing somewhat of a better job. We've already known that. Hopefully we can get a sense of how that works out. Question here is, what do you make of reports from labs around the world about the development of a vaccine? Well, of course, we need to be working on this, but this vaccine could probably make a difference between this being a disaster, but it may take a long time. We have to kind of ride this out, he says, and most people are thinking that it's 12 months to 18 months. Maybe it's going to be faster. They're doing tests already. But I think most of you probably know how I feel about vaccines, so I'm not even sure I would take the vaccine. And I'm pretty sure they probably, at least in this country, would not make that mandatory. Much of the conversation around social distancing has been about large group, but now, of course, we're talking about 10 people or less. And that's probably a good thing. This, of course, hurts all these businesses that need people in them, restaurants, bars, fitness places. Yeah, it's going Bills aren't going to take a holiday. It says, yeah. Well, it should take a holiday, and everybody should be on the bandwagon for this. Everybody should just say, hey, we're not going to stop your prescriptions from being canceled or anything if you don't have the money right now. These things should be automatic. It shouldn't be money first in this situation. I always talk and complain about that, we're a society that money is the first thing we have to think about. And now this is not the way to do that. We have to go back to the old times and think about our health first. Think about the people that you know and people that you can help, because they're going to need it. And so people short of food, we have a lot of people that have food. So we need to cooperate in this and not go out and not help each other. This is the time that we need to get together and help each other. And of course, one way you can help each other, folks, and help me at the same time is go get the Health Signals newsletter and, of course, the Primal Edge. And it's really important now to stay healthy. This is what we really stress. We've been listening for about 10 years about this health. Get your health in order, because when things like this happened, you could be in trouble. We'll be right back.
Would like to tell you about the personal training studio that Nico is the owner and president of, Performance Training. Since 1998, Nico has trained individuals and groups to improve their health both mentally and physically. As a certified personal trainer, Nico's main focus is on demonstrating exercises correctly to avoid injury and teaching his clients how to manage their past injuries while getting the most out of their personal training sessions. The Performance Training Studio is filled with unique training equipment that enhances balanced results at a faster rate while minimizing damage and discomfort. For more information, you can give Nico a call at 727-418-8740 or email him at nico@tfnn.com. Let him know you heard him on TFNN and save up to $100 on a special package just for TFNN listeners. Act today. If you're not currently using the TAS Profile Scanner when looking at setting up your trading opportunities, then your arsenal is short a mighty weapon. The TAS Profile Scanner is a standalone piece of software that instantly filters over 2,500 global financial markets such as stocks, ETFs, commodity futures, and Forex. Headed by Steve Dahl, TAS understands that in today's technological world, the use of top-flight software applications and technical analysis expertise is essential to successful trading in today's market. You also gain access to the webinar that Steve Dahl and Tom O'Brien just hosted, The Best Way to Use the TAS Profile Scanner to Profit. This webinar archive is available for all subscribers immediately upon signing up. All new subscriptions also come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. Start your subscription by visiting the front page of TFNN.com today, and you'll find the TAS Profile Scanner under the Services tab. Sign up today. Are you in the market for buying or selling real estate in the Bay Area, including the surrounding St. Petersburg, Tampa, and Clearwater markets? Tiger Real Estate LLC is a firm that has extensive experience in the Tampa Bay area. Whether you're looking to sell your current property for maximum value, or you're in the market for a second home or investment property, Tiger Realty has the experience across all areas of real estate in the Tampa Bay area to help buyers and sellers make the most informed decisions across all price levels. From the price you should be paying per square foot in certain up-and-coming areas to the type of cash flow investment properties are capable of creating, Tiger Real Estate can help you make the best decision when it comes to all areas of the market. Before you make one of the biggest decisions of your financial future, call Tiger Real Estate LLC today at 727-329-8322 or email us at tiger@tfnn.com. That's 727-329-8322. Call us today.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Welcome back to the show. Number here is 877-927-6648 if you'd like to give us a call about this subject. Looking at the United States right now, we have a little under 5,000 people infected according to the people that are being tested, of course. That's the only way we know it right now. And 93 deaths right now, so we're getting close to 100. Canada has 441 confirmed and 4 deaths. In the United States, we have 74 people recovered and 10 people recovered in Canada. Canada, of course, closed the borders. So some of the problems we have is talking about this anti-inflammatory that aggravates this. Let's go to that. And this came out of France, but now we also have it happening here. French authorities have warned that widely used over-the-counter anti-inflammatory drugs may worsen the coronavirus. Talking about ibuprofen, cortisone, things like that. Anything that has that type of structure to it, giving you a little bit of a boost of a cortisol, that type of thing. This impacts, I believe, that ACE2 receptor, and that's where the virus gets in. So it's very much related. So they're not recommending that you stop taking that medication. It's just that you're more indicated for having a problem in this. And this goes for probably Tylenol, I would say. It works a little bit differently, but I'd be careful about some of these different things over the counter. The only thing I take is some drying agents and things like that. So Benadryl is the type of thing I normally take when my allergies kick in, and it seems to work quite well for me. Get a little tired sometimes from it, but that's about it. So these are indications, and of course obesity is another one of those indications that makes you more susceptible. So we have a lot of people that are overweight in this country. You really have to be careful with this. And as I said before, if you've been following the show for the last 10 years or more, that we've really stressed that now is the time that you need to get healthy. And again, I have to stress that this is the time that you need to start getting healthy, because when things like this, and this is not going to be the first one, and the president yesterday said this could go into July or August. I hope it doesn't. I hope it's, it washes through us, fairly quickly, and this does happen to a lot of those viruses that come from China. Most of them start there, and they just kind of follow the season, the winter season around until it hits us. So it's hitting us late, which is probably better than if it hit us early. A lot of the flus, they say, hit us a lot earlier. The typical flu that was around last year hit us in November this year, and normally it doesn't hit us until January. So January is when we really started this trickling into us. So now we're into March. We're into it probably about 5 weeks, I think. And if you're looking at a 3-month plan, then we're about halfway through it. It may not be that, because it's hard to tell because of the testing. But the testing is rolling out, and that was another thing. There was a lot of problems with tests, not just here in the United States, all over. But it seems like we have a secondary test now that is much more accurate and able to diagnose a lot better. So, and that comes from the United States. So I think that will help us quite a bit. Let's see what else is on here. The Google site, I don't know if that's up yet. I haven't really looked at it, but when I looked at it Friday, when it was mentioned that Google was going to take over, and the way this thing works is you go to the site, and they give you some parameters to put in, and then they tell you to go someplace. And this is really kind of cool, because we're the only country so far doing off-site testing, drive-in type of situation. When I think about back in the 50s and early 60s was when the takeout craze started here in the United States, and of course it's never left. So now we have that in the medicine. I think this is a good idea. You don't have to get out of your car. You don't have to be waiting in a wait room. So this is, if this works, and if they can get it up running fast enough, and you can go to someplace like a Walmart where they have a staging area and you can get tested, and then a few hours later you can get the test results, that's a huge thing. So I advise people to really pay attention to that. Some ideas for social distancing. So this comes from CNN by Scotty Andrew. And social distancing doesn't have to doom your weekends, and he says we have some ideas. And one of the things you can do, of course, is read. It's too bad they don't open up some things where you can just go through. Like a good thing to do now would be to go to a place like a museum or something like that if you're the only one there. But of course, we don't have that. So we do have the internet, and this could be kind of a good thing and a bad thing, because if everybody now is on the internet double time, then of course everything is going to slow down as far as you getting work done. But now people are schooled at home. And this may be a new trend. Is this a new trend, people working from home too? Luckily, my wife can work from home. And I know a lot of people on TFNN can do their show from home too. So this is kind of a huge thing. So some ideas. Learn a language, or just the basics. Learn a few phrases in another tongue, which will make you feel smart or intelligent. If you don't know Spanish or Japanese or Swahili, go to study. So you can get a lot of this stuff online, folks. Boost your vocabulary. Remember when reading the dictionary was sort of a form of punishment? I didn't really read the dictionary much. I went through it a little bit, but one of the things that we had in our house was the encyclopedias. And I would sit in my room and read the encyclopedias and found that very interesting. And we have most of that stuff online too now. For the nature buff, be in nature. It's best to get out of the house and keep 6-foot distance from other people, of course. But find an area where you won't encounter crowds. Breathe some fresh air. Notice things about the world around you that you don't really see if you don't go out in nature. So this is a good time maybe to do a little camping or something like that. I had a friend of mine from Jiu-Jitsu drop by and we were chatting, and he says, yeah, I'm going to take the wife out and we're going to go camping. It's a great idea. Start bird watching, and this is something you may be able to do from your house. In Florida here, where I live, it's a kind of a bird sanctuary, and there certainly aren't the thousands of birds of 20 or 50 years ago, but we do have birds that pop in, and you can take your specs out and look at that and see if you can identify them, and maybe use this as you know, I remember when we were going on trips, my sister and I'd be in the back seat and we'd be counting different kinds of cars. That was, you know, I was the Ford person, she was the Plymouth person, whatever was taking place that time, or different signs we'd be reading. And that was always fun and kept our mind off the boring trip that was ahead. Go on a secluded run. That's a good idea. Yeah, you still get exercise, and as long as you keep your distance from others, it's good. So I think getting outside is really a good thing. We're going to see more of this. And it's really easy to keep your distance from people while you're out walking. And we have a nice fitness trend in the United States that's been happening for years and years. And I've always encouraged people to do it outside if you can, and don't go to the gym. So now you can't go to the gym, so it forces you to think about this a little bit differently. Of course, this restaurant may still be open, but maybe only for takeout. So this would be a good thing to do, is take out, or maybe make your own different recipes. If you got an Instapot like that, those things are online, so you can experiment with food. Maybe make the food last a little bit longer. Certainly take an inventory of your food, things like that. So during the break, please take a look at our Health Signals newsletter, and of course our Primal Edge to make you better. We'll be right back, folks.
You know what's cool? Taking something that's good for you. Something specifically formulated to help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Nico, our hunter and gatherer ancestors found all their nutritional requirements for health in their wild environment. But today, our food sources no longer contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients our bodies need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, soil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty, and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated fulvic and humic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They have been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, life cannot exist without them.
That's right, Paige. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge, formulated and approved by Nico and Paige of Living a Primal Lifestyle. Buy it today for just $89. Click on the Primal Edge banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
The gold market has taken off topside in a large way in 2020. If you want to take advantage of this sector, now is the time to subscribe to my gold report. The Gold Report took profits in 4 of its equities in the gold portfolio in the first week of January for a combined profit of 99.2%, with 2 positions left in the portfolio that have a profit of 67.5% as of January 7th. The Gold Report is a comprehensive look at the metals sector as well as the markets that move gold, which is the currency and bond markets. New subscribers get a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to lose. Every Monday morning, I publish the Gold Report with coverage of gold, silver, bonds, the XAU, HUI, GDX, as well as more than 30 different mining equities. To see for yourself the types of profitable trades that are recommended within the Gold Report, sign up now by visiting TFNN.com. Don't miss out on the next great gold trade. Sign up today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you'd invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
And welcome back to the show, and we got Tom from Tampa on the line. Always good to talk to Tom. How you doing, Tom?
Yeah, I'm good, Nico. I'm not going to keep you. I know you're wrapping up the show.
No problem.
Hey, that NMN supplement I've heard you talk about, I've been taking that now for about, 3 or 4 months. Really noticed a difference. It's got to be good, I would think, for Corona, too, don't you?
Yeah, it's definitely going to boost your immune system. I also take it with resveratrol. I think the same companies usually make them in tandem, and what that does, it boosts the NMN precursor. And it really works pretty well. My wife and I have been taking that for probably 6 or 7 months now, and yeah, we feel the difference, and we're taking the exact dosage that Dr. Sinclair had said. So yeah, look into that more, and I encourage anybody that if you're going to get your immune system up, this is a good way to do it, along with
the Primal Edge, of course.
Yeah, of course, the Primal Edge with, of course, the fulvic and humic acids. Hugely important. What else are you doing?
Well, of course, I take that with the resveratrol, and the Primal Edge. I'm taking just trying to stay fit. Eating right, watching sugar. No grains, of course. Yeah. And just hitting the gym. I'm wondering about the gyms now, though. I'm wondering if they're going to start closing those.
Yeah, here in St. Pete they're closing, and probably they will. Especially the large ones. If you go to a small guy like me, then no problem. But that's the way it is.
Yeah, if you're going to some LA Fitness with 2,000 members, though, I think it's a matter of days.
That's for sure. Hey, thanks a lot for the call, Tom. Really appreciate it.
Okay, you bet, man. All right, Nico. Thanks.
Bye-bye. So some of the other things to do now that we're stuck inside for a little while is, of course, the recipes I already talked about. This is a good time to kind of experiment with some of the food, maybe lengthen the food a little bit with some of the other things you have. Think about some of the people who are shut into these self-care programs. You can video chat with this. So if you know somebody that's in that, somebody you love, or just a friend maybe, set them up with a computer and video chat. I think that's a good thing. Another thing to do is meditate. Some awareness with all that's happening in the news and things like that. It's a good time maybe to shut things off for a while and not look at these things. And I find myself just doing research for this, it's kind of driving me crazy. And I find myself moving around a little bit more, and I know it's because of the pressure that's put on you just thinking about all these things. So a meditation, I'm doing Wim Hof's breathing exercises every single day, going from 3 to 5 cycles. So look those things up on the internet, and those things can really help you calm your nerves and also, I think, boost your immune system too. We know that breathing is really a good boost for your immune system. And do some exercises. Maybe start a new program in your house. Figure out different ways. Go on the internet and look what other people are doing. The internet becomes really important these days because even though there's a lot of garbage on there, there's a lot of good stuff on there. You just kind of have to wash through that. Nap. Everybody take a nap. That wouldn't be bad. Now, another couple of things that we used to do years ago, I haven't done for a long time, is bring out your board games. You know, Clue, the Game of Life, Scrabbles. Those are the classics. I don't know if there's new ones out there. I'm sure there are. I never really got into the video games that much, and I'm not sure really I want to because that seems like a very addictive type of thing. But card games and hearts and, you know, bridge and spades, all those things. Go fish, that type of thing. Another thing, fixing things around the house. This is a beautiful time to take some time. You're stuck in the house anyway, so why not make everything a little bit nicer? Get some of the clutter out of there. Clean the house. That'd be a good thing to do, wouldn't it? And, you know, so now one of my customers was in the other day and says, this is the most cruel and unusual punishment ever. They're going to shut us in, and now there's no sports to watch. No live sports, that is. So maybe you want to read up on some of the sports maybe that you're interested in and don't know a lot about. So again, you can go to the internet or pick up a book somewhere and find out what the rules of the game are and get more involved. So when these things come back up, you'll know a little bit more. Show your team some loves. Your favorite players are likely just as disappointed as you are, so maybe text them or tweet, that type of thing. Revisit old games. We did that. Watch some sport documentaries. Most important, they say here, is, of course, don't panic. And that's going to be important for sure. So what's on the table for you guys? I mean, what are you thinking? Okay, so there's a couple of websites that I think is a good place to start if you want to do some research on your own. One is called SIDRAP, SIDRAP.umn.edu, but just SIDRAP, you'll find this website. Has a lot of information about the coronavirus and lots of other things happening. It's a good place to really get some really good information. None of this is propaganda that I feel. So, you know, take a look at that website. You know, they have the top story right now that Trump admits the COVID-19 severity as the White House tightens the guidance. So we went from first at kind of being, you know, he was on the campaign trail and it was kind of a hoax, the Democratic hoax. Then it turned out, well, yeah, this is something we have to pay attention to. And now we know, yeah, this is a serious thing. And I don't think they were really quite ready for this, but it looks like they've got their boots on now. And I'm hoping that's the case because we need our government in these times, even though most times we don't want to really pay attention to the government that much, except the political stuff. But now is the time that you can get some good advice from them. But I always go to the web and see what some of the doctors are saying, some of the reputable ones like Peak Performance. I look at that one quite a bit, and that really has some good information. And, you know, start digging out some of these things because this will keep you occupied for sure. They have other things in here. There's a COVID-19 resource center that you can go look at. They have study questions for the role of antibiotics in kids' pneumonia, universal flu vaccine landscape, and the U.S. takes more big pandemic response. And, of course, the cases in Europe right now are soaring. Like crazy. So we're just going to have to wait and see how this pans out. A lot of people think that maybe we're already through this. I don't think so. I think we're really beginning, and as the testing comes about, we're going to see a lot more. And remember, some of the indications still that this might be as high as 2.5% death rate. And if we have 320 million people in the United States, then you can see that this is quite huge. Worldwide, I think the normal flu usually gets about 50,000 people or so. We're already at twice that number, and it'll probably be 10 times or maybe 20 or 30 times that number by the time this ends. So this is definitely a serious thing that you have to be aware of. So don't take it lightly. Wim Hof breathing they mention here, frozen steels. Yeah. One of the things is cold, so cold is not good, so you want to probably turn that temperature up a little bit. So these viruses, I don't think you can kill it with heat myself, but they say as the warmth comes. And I think in Florida we're going to see that. So we may see more people down here in Florida coming down just because the heat's going to come here more. I'll be right back, folks.
I'm certain you are or strive to be one of the best at everything you do in life. It's the most common trait that we tigers and tigresses share. If you're looking to become the best of the best when it comes to managing your money, let me teach you to do what most wealth managers tell you can't be done, which is how to time the markets. I'm Steve Rhodes, author of Mastering Probability, and for the last 12 months, Timer Digest has been tracking my newsletter signals, which have earned me the ranking as their #1 market timer in the nation for the S&P 500 for the last 12, 6, and 3 months. Timer Digest also ranks me as the #1 market timer for gold as well. The fact is, markets can be timed, and I'll teach you the exact set of tools that I use that has transformed me into one of the best at what I do. Sign up for Mastering Probability today by clicking on the newsletter tab on the homepage of TFNN.com and get immediate access to workshops where I take you step by step how to use an extraordinary set of tools as well as provide great market calls too. Sign up today.
Hi folks, Tom O'Brien here. If you'd like to get my daily newsletter, Market Insights, then now is a great time to sign up for a 30-day free trial. Every morning by 9:30, I send out my morning letter to subscribers with market commentary on a variety of markets, currencies, and commodities to keep investors up to date on the day's trading action. Included in Market Insights are specific buy and sell recommendations for stocks, ETFs, and even options, with stops and price targets included for every trade in my newsletter. If you'd like to try my newsletter risk-free for 30 days, then head over to the front page of TFNN and you'll find Market Insights under Trading Newsletters. I use my years of trading experience to bisect and dissect the market every morning and give my subscribers the most important information they need to know for the day ahead. I even issue afternoon updates for my subscribers whenever warranted with important market action. I'm always scouring the market for the next great trading opportunity. Sign up for your 30-day free trial to my daily newsletter, Market Insights, today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Wow! Go get them, folks.
TFNN has developed a daily programming lineup for traders by traders. We start every trading day live at 8:30 a.m. with Tommy O'Brien hosting the morning market kickoff as he starts the day off by breaking down everything you need to know about what's going on for the trading day ahead. At 9 a.m., Larry Pesavento takes your calls and questions live on the air for the opening bell as he hosts Trade What You See. At 10 a.m., Tom and Tommy O'Brien host the Bull Bear Trading Hour. At 11 a.m., it's Kevin Hanks and Alex Coffey from TD Ameritrade Network with Fast Market. Basil Chapman at noon with the Tiger Technicians Hour. Steve Rhodes hosts the Trader's Edge at 1 p.m. Dave White with the Power Trading Hour at 2 p.m. And Tom O'Brien closes out the day for the final hour of trading live from 3 till 4. Don't miss a second of our daily programming lineup. Tune in to Tiger TV every trading day live at TFNN.com. Educating investors.
Welcome back. The last thing I want to mention is the rationing of healthcare is nothing new in Italy. In fact, it's become an established trend in recent years. And amid the ongoing economic crisis, the strained government resources, including the government-run healthcare system, in this context, there's grave shortages of medical resources. So it's going to be just a matter of time that maybe your grandmother shows up in the ER and she's given some cough syrup, but she's sent home to die. And this is kind of what happens, you know, if you were in a tribe and it was dire straits, the old people might be left behind if they can't travel because it would behoove the tribe to travel just to survive. And we've heard those stories, and this is what's happening now in Italy, and probably will happen in other countries too, hopefully not in the United States, but if we get overwhelmed, this is what happens, and this is why it's so important to be healthy. Now, speaking of health and the show is going to kind of reboot itself. So on the 31st, and now next week I'll have the regular show probably, unless they restrict us. But the week after that, I'm going to bring in a new co-host, kind of a little surprise. And we're just working out the details right now. So we're just going to keep on going. And I'm going to try to make this show better than ever. And have a new energy here with somebody new, and I think you're going to like what's going on. So I'm really looking forward to that. It's always nice to kind of take the time and kind of refigure on what you're doing. The Primal Lifestyle type of program, living a primal lifestyle, exploring a return to a more balanced, natural, wild world is still going to continue. We want to recover our natural health and regain our rights and freedoms. We also want to live in harmony, not only with nature, but with all the people around us. That's what human beings really want. The reason we get together, or if a stranger knocks on your door and needs help, we would love to invite them in. And, you know, this virus is one of those times when it's one-on-one, might be not so bad. You keep your distance, but you help people. So if you know somebody that needs help, somebody that's short of food, help them out if you've got it. And I want everybody to remain safe and at the same time be very vigilant, and we'll get through this in no time. I hope to see you next week, folks. Thanks a lot for sticking around. Bye-bye.